So we're back with our video sit-downs with candidates, and we've turned our attention back to the 35th District. 35th. See, this is where we screw up here. Back with the 35th District Senate race. And Marco Brown is the guy across the table. And Marco, you've ran for office before, but it's been a while. But
right.
Tell everybody about you and why you're choosing to run for this race.
Right. Well, my name is Marcelino Brown, and I'm from Central America. My family is basically way back when from the West Indies. That's why I have sort of a British accent sometimes. And they migrated to Panama, Central America, when the Panama Canal was being built. And so our family basically have been making America great again from the inception, making America great. And I like to continue that tradition from my family, because my grandfather worked, both grandfathers on both sides, mother and father, paternal grandfather, worked for the Panama Canal. And one of them was a locomotive driver. And the people, American people, brought their prejudices there, you know, and so they had fountains for white people, and they had fountains for the native Panamanian people, black people, so to speak. And they brought those things to us. And grandfather used to have to get up early in the morning to get that train warmed up and running, so that by the time the white conductor came, he would just jump in the train and he'd be gone. Well, the family, young boys in the family, really resented that Grandpa couldn't drive that train because, you know, he was a black man. We even moved the train. But yet he could drive the train if he really wanted to. But that wasn't allowed. Anyway, so the reason I'm running is because I think America is great. And to be able to accomplish the things that I want to do in this country, have been offered that as America, because America is fair. See, no other country could, a minority from some other country, come and be part of government, even to say that they're going to run for some government position. But America is fair that way. And so I want to be able to affect the changes that's going to happen in America, from the lowest level to the highest level. My ambition is high. And this is the reason why I want to run for state senator in our Mason County, is because I see the corruption that's going on. Okay, and I see that people really need a hand up, not a hand out. And then I see that I think I can make a difference. I think every time we get up, we ought to be able to make a difference in other people's lives. And me and my family are Christians. We're Catholics. And I just think that we ought to live our faith. So when you see me walking through the community, it's my faith that I carry with me, okay, and the love of people because of who I follow. And this is one of the reasons I believe that government will be a good opportunity for me to serve people. In my community, the places that I serve, I was appointed as fire commissioner for District 2 in the north end of Mason County, Mike Green at the time. And what I helped to accomplish there, we brought a hospital, Harrison Hospital there, emergency care clinic. I'm very proud to be able to be on that board as a secretary, to be able to bring that to Mason County. Other things I've done is that Mason County needed a dog and cat shelter, animal shelter. We are bringing that there now. We bought the land, and now we just need to get more funds to build that shelter, because we don't have one in Mason County. So I was on the board of that for some years. What else have I done? Lower Hood Canal Water Coalition. We looked over I don't know if you've heard of that or not.
Okay.
Yeah, but we pretty much monitor the sound and make sure the sound is safe and clean, and the integrity of the sound remains, you know, its integrity remains. And that's what I basically like to do, look out for the community. Originally from Los Angeles, Huntington Beach, California. And my wife's family has been moving up here for the past 25, 30 years, and finally we were the last holdout. And so I said, well, I think it's time we go to be with your family, because we were the last. Moved up here, and we loved it so much up here in this part of Washington, because her family lives in Kirkland and that area. But I liked being rural because I am a veteran of the United States Air Force and had a tour of duty in Vietnam. and came back home, and I really just wanted to get away from all the misery and all the hectic lifestyle. So I love being out in the country. And I said, honey, well, let's live out here because it's beautiful and pristine. And as compared to the city. City life just really puts me on edge. And that's why we moved out to this particular part of Washington State. It's so beautiful and lovely out here and pristine. I'd like to keep it that way.
Okay. So, Marco, let's get into some of the issues. School funding and property tax. That sticker shock that everybody has gotten, and it's going to go down next year. But I just want to get your thoughts on the school funding and the property taxes and how that issue has impacted you and what you'd like to fix on that.
Well, if you go to Governor Inslee's website, you'll notice that as of June 6th, he's found funding for the school, $44 million worth. And that will be able to cover transportation and employment salary for the teachers and what have you. And I think he pretty much has that covered. He said wasn't to worry about it, so I'm not.
Okay.
That's one thing we agree on.
Okay. Well,
all the funds that's necessary to educate our children.
Okay. So teacher salaries, there's been some inequities that came out of this funding plan, especially for certain districts that are adjacent to larger districts. I know there's another fix in the works on that.
Oh, yes.
But
they're working on that.
They're working on that.
Yes.
You have any thoughts on teacher salaries?
Well, I think it's right on target. It's about $59,000 per teacher per annum. You know, that's the middle section, and then it goes off to 70%, and then in the 70% bracket, like 80,000, 70,000, 80,000 as you go higher. That's based on tenure, really. Okay. I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is the teachers not really doing their job. Teachers who are incompetent, and they are out there, trust me, because being a teacher myself in Catholic school, I've seen it. It's there, it exists. Kids who are graduating and can't read, you had them since kindergarten, and here they are now in 8th grade and still can't read. Somebody along the line failed you. You know, and I am against that, totally against that. So I think merit base is important also to me. So you get your $59,000 a year, but you also taught your class, and you were an exceptional teacher. It's based on merit. So therefore, you should be compensated for being an excellent instructor. My thoughts.
Okay. School safety. You see what's going on around the country, and I put this question this way to everybody. I don't want you to tell me necessarily whether you support arming teachers or not, but I want your thoughts about making sure we keep our kids safe while they're at school.
Yes. I don't think going about it having teachers armed in schools is a good idea, because the kids will get into everything. They just do. That's just with the nature of children, right? And we don't need to have a whole lot of guns on the school campus whatsoever. But I do believe we can have security. We can hire more security guards. We can hire more foot patrol, that type of thing. There are ways of doing it to be able to spot who is trying to get on campus to do us harm, do our children harm. But as far as arming the teachers, not a good idea whatsoever. I've heard it said you bring veterans in to do that job, but that's not a good idea either, because most of those will probably be coming from a background that's very, let's say, intense on eliminating the threat. I don't like that. Okay. So they don't belong there.
Environmental issues out there, anything at the top of your list when it comes to the environment?
Yes, most definitely. It's called the evergreen state for a reason. Trees are beautiful trees here, okay? And what I'm seeing going on since we got to Washington State is the logging, the excessive logging. And government is also involved in that excessive logging, like DNR, okay? In running the fire department every year, oh, geez, we're short of funds. The revenue is low. Why is that, Chief? Well, that's because they didn't cut sufficient trees to pay us. Well, that's not a good revenue stream. So I kept arguing back and forth with them that we need to find a permanent revenue stream coming in, other than depending on DNR revenue coming into us. And so we butt heads, so on and so forth. But we need to find a way that sustain the fire department, or whatever department that it might be, be it educational department, you name it. Logging, to me, has got to be managed properly. Otherwise, we're going to end up with a desert. That's simple. It's clear and simple, because that's what happened. Human nature, they just start building and start developing and tearing out the trees here and there, and after 20 years, oh my God, the trees are gone. And that's just human's nature. They don't look to see what the end result will be. When it happens, that's when they take action. Like when someone gets shot in Las Vegas. Now we begin to say, oh, we could have done this, we could have done that. But if you looked at that in advance, you would have known this could have happened. And in the military, we have what's called a program called What If. And we use the What If program, which means, okay, what if we got attacked? What would we do? It's a scenario, it's a game. But now, since we played the game, we know exactly what we need, what measures we need to protect ourselves if this happens, if that happens. But government runs by the seat of their pants, and that has got to stop. I don't know how to stop it, personally, but it has to be stopped.
So you're basically talking about being proactive rather
Correct.
than reactive.
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And that's what you'd like to see in Olympia.
Yes.
Let's talk a little
Along
bit.
with common sense.
Common sense. Well, my next question is kind of on those lines.
Oh, okay.
Special sessions. We didn't have one this last session, but the
Right.
session before went on
Right.
for months, actually. How would you go about trying to stop that?
At taxpayers' expense.
Yeah.
That is totally unacceptable. They're there and they really need to do the job that they have on hand. That job has got to be completed within a certain period of time. Okay, we don't need to go into special session for any longer than, say, 2 days. Anything longer than that, you're wasting taxpayers' dollars. Okay, you need to do your job. And a lot of the legislators are not doing their job. And that's from the federal government all the way down. I think they're basically concerned more about their pensions. And that really strikes me, because everyone is afraid to stand up and be a leader because it's going to affect the bottom line. My pension. You know, to me, again, it comes back to me, you're not looking out for the people. And again, that's why I'm running, because I believe in term limits. You're there to do some service, and after a while, you move on because you ran out of ideas. Okay, everybody runs out of ideas. Things get stale. That's why you make a new cup of coffee, because the one you've got has expired. Okay, your soda pop, your Coke that you're drinking, it has an expiration date on there, right? Everything expires because that's just the nature of the world. It expires. That means you run out of new ideas. You need new people coming in. That's why the founding fathers said you have 2 years as a representative, or 4 years as a senator, or whatever it might be, 6 years as a governor, okay? Because that's the extent of that job. You can't think outside the box any more than that, because everyone carries a certain characteristic with them. For example, a Picasso. You can look at a Picasso painting and say, man, that's a Picasso, that's a Picasso. Why can you say that? Because he carries himself in that photograph or that painting. You leave a mark on there that people know who you are, right? So a Picasso cannot paint like a Rembrandt. He can't think like Rembrandt or anyone else. See? That's just the way that is. Term limits. Solve that problem.
Okay. So Marco, I like to end these interviews with a quick little, I call it an elevator speech about why you should be in the state senate.
Okay.
So that's my question to you. Why should we send you to Olympia as our state senator?
Okay, you send me there because I will represent the people, truly represent the people. The Constitution of the United States says, the preamble, we the people. It doesn't say anything about we the corporation or we the Chamber of Commerce. It says we the people. But the educational system has failed us because we begin to think that our elected officials are there to represent us through their thoughts. But that's not the way it goes. Government is there to represent all the people because all the people can't speak at one time. So that one representative speaks for all the people. That's government. And government is about people. That's what it is. Politics starts with a P, people. And that's why I want to run for your state senator. I want to make a difference. I want to make a positive difference in your lives. I believe I'm the man that can do it. The one that I'm really competing right now against, I would not call his name, but he's been there almost 18 years, going on 18 years, and he's for himself. That's my opinion. He's for himself. He's not really for you, the people. Because if he was for you, the people, he wouldn't be lying to you saying that he's a Democrat, but yet he votes Republican every doggone time. That goes to integrity. If a person has to lie to you to get a job, that person doesn't belong there. That's what the Democrat Party tried to get that opponent that I'm up against right now. They tried for years to get him out of there. You say you want that man gone, but yet you keep voting that person back in. That's what you call some kind of stupid.
Marco, thank you for taking some time and talking with us.
Excuse me, but I'm passionate.
No, we like passion.
Latinos are passionate.
Right.
They sound like we're arguing, but we're not. We're just passionate.
All right. Thanks, Marco.
Thank you, Dedrick.